Welcome to the From Whistle to Whistle podcast on the Dynasty DNA podcasting network, where we debate the hottest NFL and Dynasty fantasy football topics every week. So sit back, pick a side, and enjoy the show. And here is your From Whistle to Whistle host and moderator, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand crew, to the newest episode of From Whistle to Whistle here on the Dynasty DNA podcasting network. I'm your host, TJ Blake. You can follow me over on X at FFTJBlakeDNA. And as always, representing the color blue in the blue corner, the Dynasty DNA co-founder and the new co-host on the newest show, Dynasty After Dark with Dynasty Wiz. It is Ty Blake. You can follow him over on X at Dynasty DNA Ty. Ty, first episode of Dynasty After Dark airing on Thursday. How did you do with Wiz? How did you go about that?
Yeah, if he wasn't going to bring it up, I was just going to say I'm just glad to be back to normalcy. I mean, that was horrible. Some of Wiz's takes are just horrifying. I don't even know how it could even be said, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I'm just glad to be back. These two guys know a heck of a lot more, I think, than Wiz. So I hope Wiz is watching. These are more my guys here. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited to be back. Yeah.
Already battling you and Wiz, and I can't wait for more, and I'm sure the fans can't wait for that either, because that's what's great about Ty and Wiz. They will just tell you right out, like, that's stupid, you're an idiot. That's what's great about it. I love it.
Well, Wiz just likes to give away star players for cheap prices, and I'm just not about that. So
he's not going to bring that kind of Kool-Aid to a beer party in the blue corner. No doubt about that. All right, so Dynasty After Dark, you guys got to check that out Thursday. But we're headed over to the red corner, and it is the newlywed, the baddest man on the planet, the fantasy machine himself, Mike Shanoudi. You can follow him over on X at Shanu471. Mike, let me just say this first and foremost from all of us here at Dynasty DNA and all the fans. Congratulations, my friend, on a successful wedding. We're happy for you. How did that go? And you happy to be back?
Yes, sir. You know, it was a fun time, like I told the boys. It's so funny. You plan something so big for so long, spend all that money, then all of a sudden it's like that. It's like watching the Steelers, right? You think it's going to be good, and then after 2 weeks, you're like, oh, I remember why this team makes me mad every Sunday. So it's just like you have it in perspective. But no, I couldn't be happier. It's been awesome. I know it's only been like a couple days after the wedding, but I truly am blessed to be here back with you guys with a new wife and everything. I feel like everything's coming up red. So let's get a win tonight so we can continue.
That's right. Put the chips on the red on the roulette table, Mike's saying. That's what he's going with. But congratulations, man. We're happy for you. And last but not least, in the yellow corner, right? We're going down to the yellow corner on the Minnesota-Wisconsin line. He is the Dynasty DNA propaganda minister, and he is the guy that will be biting off kneecaps at the Fantasy Football Expo if you guys do not follow through and join the network and join us. It is Tessier, Justin Tessier. You can follow him over on X at Tessier91. Tessier, Fantasy Football Expo this weekend. Your first experience with that. We're excited. Ready for that? You ready to rock?
Absolutely. If you want anything from me, if you're going to be there, you got to hit that follow button. I ain't going to even entertain it. You got to hit that follow, that subscribe, that like, everything, and then we can talk business. But it's going to be a fun experience, be out of state for a little bit, get away, and then do my favorite thing in fantasy football. It should be great. I do have some news, too, coming out of Dairyland that the Tucker Kraft extension is imminent. It's incoming, so stay tuned for that. He's going to be paid big money, and I can't wait.
Can't wait, right? But you know what? We got a great show lined up for you guys here today because this is the All Thing Wide Receiver show, right? We've been following up, doing the different position groups. We're going to be talking strictly wide receivers today, right? And this is just like the juiciest of positions when it comes to Dynasty Fantasy Football. That pillar that we all hope to have to build around, right, usually revolves around the wide receiver room. So, Ty, without further ado, we're going to start with you. And it's going to be which wide receiver room And you know what? We're going to be talking about, Ty, these receiver rooms that are a little bit less than, popular, let's say. They're kind of middle of the pack. Maybe some people are a little bit scared, staying away from them, get a little cold feet. So I want to know, I'm going to list a couple of these teams. If there's one that could be a little bit of an emergence type of a receiver room that you could see, and one that you kind of like low-key to get involved with, who's it going to be? And I'm going to name the teams right now. The Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears, the Los Angeles Chargers, or the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, that's that's easy for me. I'm going to go Cardinals. I was hoping you're going to bring up someone I like a little bit. Those other three I'm not a huge fan of, to be honest with you. But, yeah, I like the Cardinals. Definitely seen the emergence of Michael Wilson. I don't know if he can match all season what he was doing in the back half of that year. If he would, I mean, he would be an absolute stud in fantasy. But I can still definitely see him having a really nice role this year. It's what we wanted to see. We like Michael Wilson, so it was nice to see him having a coming out party. And, of course, Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm still on that train a little bit. One leg off, one leg on. It changes daily. I do want to believe in the guy. I think he does have the talent. Just hopefully Arizona can use him the right way. But they need to right away because this is his third year now. So we got to see something this year. If we don't, then we really are going to be on red alert. It's not going to be looking good. So, but I do think the guy's got a lot of talent. Maybe we just overhyped him a little bit and gave him too much of high levels. I just don't think he's going to reach that, but I still think he could be a really good receiver for you in fantasy. So I'm going to lean on Arizona. To be quite honest with you, them other three teams you name, I don't like at all. I mean, I'm not a Chicago Bears receiver guy. I'm just not. A lot of people are. I'm not.
Okay, so Ty, kind of coming out throwing a little bit of a curveball, right? Because you look at Arizona structurally,
yep,
right? I mean, they ain't like the sexiest team in that party.
No.
But, you look at it from the standpoint of like, okay, will Brissett play? I think he will, right? He don't got much leverage. I mean, he's kind of a journeyman backup type. And then the fact that they're going to be down a lot of points.
Just about to say it, too. Yeah, they'll be down a lot. So that's why they threw the football, so, yeah.
Okay, all right. So Ty is going with the Arizona Cardinals. Get your cactus out, ladies and gentlemen. Ty is going to the desert. So, Mike, I'm coming over here to you to the red corner. I'm going to ask you the same question. Which wide receiver room for you? And we're going to be talking about these four teams as far as like lower-end teams that, middle of the road that could kind of come up a little bit as far as a surprise that you like low-key. The Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears, Los Angeles Chargers, and the Arizona Cardinals. Where are you at on this? Do you agree with Ty? You go in another direction? Where is your thoughts?
I'm going to go with my boy Teixeira's team. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. He's been praising Jordan Love all this time, but it's not just Jordan Love. I think I follow the money, right? I think they paid Watson, they paid Reed to be those guys to do their things. And let's not forget, everybody loves gold. Am I right, TJ? So, I mean, they have three wide receivers that could take the next step. And I feel like they help out Jordan Love more than what we can expect. I think now we can finally see Reed do the things that he can do in the X-slot receiver routes. We can see Watson go down with the football. I mean, out of the quarterbacks you've said, or out of the rooms you said, the quarterback who's proven the most is Jordan Love. Caleb, we're hoping that he could be a great quarterback. I'm not saying that Burden and Rome Odunze can't do what they can do, but I believe more in Watson because I've seen him. He just needs to stay healthy. Reed, we know what his problem was. He needed to get on the field. Now that they kind of stripped down the room a little bit, we got the three wide receivers that they needed. Tucker Kraft, if we want to add him to that, it's going to be an awesome way of just throwing the football. Now, who's going to be the alpha wide receiver? That's going to be the issue. But I believe that all three wide receivers that I just mentioned are going to have some fantasy values in some ways because they can get down the field. They can make crossing routes work. They can do the yak plays, everything that you want. And talking to what Ty said about the Arizona Cardinals, I believe the same thing with the Green Bay Packers. They're going to have to throw the football to win. Not saying Josh Jacobs sucks or anything. It's just I think that's the game plan Matt LaFleur usually does. And I like to follow that. And obviously I'm a money guy. So if you pay two wide receivers, that means you want to do something. So,
all right. So Mike going with Green Bay, and laying out a lot of good reasons. You guys are bringing your A games here today. Teixeira, same question: which wide receiver room for you? low-key, middle of the road? I know it isn't going to be the Chicago Bears, but could it be Green Bay? Could it be Los Angeles Chargers? Or could it be the Arizona Cardinals? I think I know which way you're going. Tell us why you feel the way you do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the way you think I'm going, and I'm seeing green. Give me that cheddar. I'm going with the Packers. Mike alluded to it. They all but telegraphed what they're going to be trying to do this season by paying those wide receivers. Now they're going to be paying Tucker Kraft here soon. I think this is a formula for Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love that finally, I hope, comes from commission. I've been begging for this and pounding the table for a year and a half now. Let Jordan cook. Let him run that offense. I think the scare of Josh Jacobs in this running game is going to have to keep them being a little bit apprehensive about just giving him a huge, bigger workload and leaning on Josh Jacobs there in the run game all season long. If it's not the legal trouble, if his body's going to hold up, I know he's a dog, but he's also approaching 30. You know, it's going to be a long season in the black and blue division. And for this team, it's very competitive within the division. It's not going to be a bunch of games where there's going to be blowouts and they're not going to have to throw the ball and they can lean on the run game. It's going to be a lot of close games. The Bears are going to be tougher. The Vikings are going to be tougher. The Lions are going to do their darndest. But I think at the end of the day, what caveat with the Packers that I like to think of is when you're in your drafts, the startups, or even have a couple of those Packers wide receivers sitting in your taxi squad like a Savion Williams or a Matthew Golden or at the bottom of your rosters, if those guys hit, you can, and you still are not, believer and all in, all the way in, you could flip them for more than what you got them, and you can get more capital back or some players you like. And I think that this season, by the end of 26, you're going to be liking what's coming out of the wide receiver room in Green Bay. And I think they're going to be a lot of those players in the wide receiver room are going to be on rosters that are contending for championships in 2026.
Right, and good value, right? Green Bay was at the top of my list as well. Arizona was number 2, low key, because just the simple fact of they are going to be down points. And, I feel like Chicago is going to be 3. I think that's going to be more Loveland running game driven. And then I have the Chargers last because Ty, what are the Chargers?
Frauds.
Thank you very much. Okay. So,
2
Wiz,
points for Ty.
Just a little hint too. Wiz got an earful about that on Dynasty After Dark from Ty. So let me just say, we're going to move on to the next question, but there were a lot of decent teams. I think you got to try to be careful as far as getting in the quicksand with them, though. How high? What would have been your second choice, Ty?
Probably the Bears. I just don't trust the Packers.
You don't trust them?
I don't trust the Packers. We do this every year. We're like, oh, this could, and then it just falls flat. Now, it does help that is Wicks and Dobbs gone?
Yep.
So that may help it. It really may help it. But it just scares me because we want this every year, and it never happens. So I think I'm more of a guy, I got to see it to believe it. Now, if they do it, it will be tremendous. But I don't trust them. Okay,
so Ty's saying seeing is believing. If he sees it, then he'll be more in on this passing game.
And it better be Golden and Reed, not Christian Watson.
Okay, I like that, Ty. Keep your mind space there. I think we all agree with you on that. And I think that that's what they have to go to, right? They got to pick 1 or 2 guys and stick with that focal point.
Yeah, not Watson.
Not Watson.
I hate Watson.
Okay. And we got the paper hamstrings, Christian Watson, no doubt about it. But let's go over here now to the next question on the list. And you know what this one's going to be? This is going to be the Facebook poll is what I call it. And this is all driven by Teixeira. And, I could not help myself. We talked on the phone. It was driving me crazy. We got to bring it up. So we're going to start with you on this one, Mike. The Facebook poll on the Dynasty DNA Facebook. If you guys haven't seen it, follow Dynasty DNA on Facebook, Dynasty DNA Fantasy Football Network over there. You could join and follow us over there. But Teixeira put down in 2026 Dynasty Fantasy Football Leagues, which post-hype, under-the-radar wide receiver do you want the most as your wide receiver 2/flex if you could pick one? And it's going to be Mike, Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Worthy, Jalen McMillan, and your boy, Jalen Coker. So let's go ahead and hear about it right now. Let me just see. I know the love for Jalen Coker is going to come out, but let's just hear about this post in general too, Mike. What do you think about this and how it all breaks down?
Yeah, okay, we all know who I'm deciding, so I'll keep it short and sweet with him. You know, if you want a shot of energy, you got to do a little cocaine with it. You know what I mean? You just get to the end zone, you do your thing, you score points with the coke heads. But I do love the post. I personally, Tessier knocked it out of the park with this one. I think these are some of the guys that we see in these trades, and we're like, you know, with the right situations, they all can happen, right? We've talked about McMillan. He was injured last year, and how he came back, kind of wiped away Ibuke's kind of tremendous season. Ricky Pearsall, we're still kind of like figuring him out after those injuries, and now with no now with Mike Evans there, where does he fit in? Juwan Jennings is gone, as well as those are like kind of those things we're seeing with these guys. I personally, guys, when you see these players, these are the players that you look at and you're like, what can get me over the hump? What are these guys who could become high potential guys? That's why I love Jalen Coker. I think Jalen Coker is my guy because I feel like we're done with the Get project. We already know that T-Mac is the alpha wide receiver. He can easily be the two. We see what he could do on the field with the crossing routes, the posts, everything like that. So, I mean, there is no wrong answer. I will say that there is no wrong answer. This is like going to Cold Stone and picking your favorite flavor. For me, it's just the Coke head in me is always going to be there for him. I loved what he did for me in fantasy. I still believe in his talent. I still believe in Bryce Young. I still believe in the Carolina Panthers ascending. So.
And, you know, Mike has also issued out the Coca-Cola to call it Coca-Cola. And, you know, he still hasn't got a response on that.
Exactly.
He still hasn't got a response on that, but he's trying, let me just say. And, you know, I mean, I agree with you, Mike. There is a lot of goodness here, but, you know, there's going to be a few things that I got to bring up whenever it gets to be at the end of the thing, and I got to speak my piece. But, Tessier, you were the creator of the post. As Mike said, well done. Very good content. I really like this. 2026. Which post hype under the radar wide receiver do you want the most as your wide receiver 2 flex type of guy? Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Worthy, Jalen McMillan, Jalen Coker. How does this all break down in your mind, and who are you picking as your one in that choice out of the 4?
In my mind, all these guys here are viable to be something on my roster if I were to have them. I mean, I'm not trying to force them in there to be relied upon week in and week out. It's just, you know, if you need that, what Mike said, get over the hump, that little bump, so to speak, in your points for each of your matchups. But I just think from what I've been seeing all off season in this camp and just the recovery, I think Jalen McMillan is going to blow the top off the Buccaneers offense this year. I think there's a reason why when it all started that we were kind of gun shy on fully going through the door on the Emeka Egbuka stocks was with what Jalen McMillan brings to this offense. So with Baker Mayfield paying for a contract and them not having a very consistent or a safe floor running game at the moment, I mean, there could have some weeks where they're going to need those guys to show up, but I think it's going to be Baker's arm, and his top target should be Jalen McMillan. And I think he, out of all 4 of these guys, could have the highest upside weeks more consistently. I think he can have more value also going forward as far as trades if you're trying to move off of him and try to climb up the ladder in the wide receiver room. But if you're trying to just have a guy that will get you through to the playoffs and just keep your roster in flow in case of any freak injuries come up, I think that he could hit that wide receiver 2 ceiling that we're looking for that's coming out of this question. I mean, these other guys are great, but if I'm looking for a separator, I think this is McMillan's season to do it.
All right, Tessier, I like the explanation. And Ty, okay, you know, you were one of the ones that were a little more quiet on this. I know you're not a big social media guy, but here we go. I'm going to ask you right now. This was a big poll here in the Dynasty DNA Facebook page. Which post hype under the radar wide receiver in 2026 do you want most as your wide receiver 2 flex type of guy that you could bring in and play and be kind of nice fill-in guy when you need him, or maybe could have a ceiling? Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Worthy, Jalen McMillan, or Jalen Coker?
Yeah, I'd probably lean Jalen McMillan. It's just a really good spot being in Tampa, and it was a bummer he got hurt in preseason because he would have had a really nice opportunity last year with Evans being down for an amount of time and Chris Godwin being down for an amount of time. So Kind of sucks he really didn't get his chance last year, but this year he's definitely going to get some more looks with Evans being out of town. I just think he's probably got the most upside out of the 4 players, but truly, I don't think you can go wrong. I think it's just kind of, go with the guy you like out of the group. I don't think value-wise there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb, but I just like McMillan in the landing spot. And what I've seen in his first year and his rookie year, he played pretty well. So I think that's probably who I'll lean.
Okay, and I'm with you. It's Jalen McMillan for me, and you know what, guys? I cannot believe that Xavier Worthy was even close to Jalen McMillan there, right?
Yeah, that is.
I mean, to me, even Pearsall, I can make a case, right, just for the simple fact that he is the wide receiver 2 on that team.
Worthy be my last one.
Yeah, exactly. Worthy be last. And the fact that he is, nipping on the heels of McMillan, who's in second, and they have Pearsall in first, that just kills me. I had to bring it up, but, my list goes like this. I have McMillan, I have Coker, Pearsall, and Worthy. That's how it breaks down for me.
I have McMillan, Pearsall, Coker, Worthy.
Right. And if Worthy, the common denominator, Worthy's in last place.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I just look at it like this, guys. We talk about Jalen McMillan. Tessier and I was talking about this on the phone. I look at it the fact that, he played 4 or 5 games last year. One game he was wide receiver 12 with 48 or a 50% snap share. It was insane. The fact that he could do that with such a low snap share, Baker likes this guy, too. He does. You watch the Buccaneer games, he kind of hones in on him. And I'm like, Mike, you look at Coker, there is nobody behind Tet McMillan. Xavier Legette don't scare me. Whoever else. I know Brazel's the rookie. I know Tessier likes him a little bit. But even if he were to come on, it's going to be a little bit later. Coker got paid as well, right? They want to keep him there. So, I like that. Coca-Cola is another solid option. And, I'm going to stick with Mike on that as well. But let's go over to the next question here on the list. And it's going to be 1v1, right? These are 1v1 trades. We're going to be talking about some wide receivers here. And I want to know what you guys' thoughts are. Tessier, we're going to start with you on this. They're going to be similar age group. They're going to be similar as far as what the perceived value would be. And I just want to know who you guys would take on contending rosters, or maybe who you would draft in startups. So Tessier, right now, you have your option of Mike Evans or Davante Adams, and you could get them for either a high second or you could take them in the startup. Which way would you lean and why? Because I'll tell you what, this is very comparable. Same division, very solid veteran guys. I know Ty's chomping at the bit here to answer, but Tessier, who would you take and why? Comparable trade value or in a startup?
I'm going to go with Mike Evans here. I think he's going to get back to his 1,000-yard seasons with the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy is going to lean on him a lot, especially if Kittle doesn't get back healthy as fast as they would like him to be. The separator here for me is that Davante Adams' season last year was ridiculously efficient in the red zone, and his amount of touchdowns that he received. I think that as he will have a good season himself, I don't think it's going to be light years ahead of what it was last year with Matt Stafford. I think the production coming in that Rams offense is going to come down a little bit more to the average mean than it will be explosive again. And I think that Mike Evans, if he's healthy and that substation doesn't get to him, I think that he's on track for more consistent games and back to his normal self, where in trades, I think just because I could probably get him for a little bit better value, probably Davante Adams, but in a startup, I'm going to go Mike Evans.
Okay, Tessier, going to go with Mike Evans, Ty. Okay, here's a couple of your guys. We know you like these guys. Right at high seconds, right around dynasty trade value, late first, right? Or you could get them in a startup. Who are you leaning more? Who do you feel more this year as far as having the better year, Mike Evans or Davante Adams?
Yeah, I just keep bouncing back and forth. I love both players. I'll probably have to lean Evans also. I just feel that the 49ers are really going to lean on him. They're going to have that's what they've been missing is that guy at wide receiver ever since Ayuk kind of just blew up and whatever the hell you want to call it, just had his meltdown. And but they need that guy outside. And honestly, I think he'll even help Pearsall being there. He's a veteran dude. He's one of the best in the business. And I just think the new landing spot's the only thing that does kind of scare me compared to Adams, because you know what Adams is going to get you. You seen it last year in the red zone. He is a monster. I mean, he scored a pile of touchdowns, and I expect that to happen again this year. But I just think Evans is going to be the more reliable guy out of the two, and I think Purdy's really going to lean on him. And San Francisco needs him horrible. So I'm going to lean Evans, but it's going to be close.
So you say Evans and the more consistency.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that Devontae Adams could have bigger games here and there, but it could be less consistent.
Yeah, I just think that whenever Adams ain't getting the touchdowns, he ain't having an overly great game, because he's not the dude that's going to get you 8-9 grabs a game anymore. Like, he's getting older, there's no doubt, but he's still really good. I mean, especially in the red zone. So, yeah, I think Evans is more of a consistent guy. So,
okay, so 2 for 2 on Mike Evans. We're going to the red corner with Mike. Could it be 3 for 3, Mike? You could either have Devontae Adams or Mike Evans via trade or in a startup. Who are you taking and why for 2026? Who do you like?
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. I'm going to go with the higher floor. I feel like Mike Evans still has a lot left in the tank. I know he had that horrific injury there in the middle of the season, and then he came back like he didn't miss a step. Look, Devontae Adams with Matthew Stafford is always going to be electric. But like Ty alluded to, if it's not 2 to 3 touchdowns, you don't feel very comfortable. It's not like they're hitting them on just those like chain moving routes, like Puka is that guy, and they're trying to phase in like a DeMarcus Robinson and have these 12 personnel sets. Also, we didn't even mention about the running backs, right? Like, I mean, Williams and Corum both can catch the football out of the backfield. They want to run the football. I'm not saying, obviously, San Francisco has the best catching running back in all of football in Christian McCaffrey. But, I mean, outside of Ricky Pearsall, there is no other guy. Like, they need to have a guy who's going to be in the red zone. We know Kittle's little injury history he's coming back from. So, they're very, very close in rankings for me, but because of that higher floor, Evans is the guy that I'll target in trades and in startups.
Okay, so let me just say I agree with you guys. Like, I really think that this is going to be good for Mike Evans. It's going to come down to health.
Yeah.
I mean, it always does with Mike Evans, but if he's available, we see some of these older players sometimes, too, get moved, and they have something to prove, or they're rejuvenated because it's like something fresh. They kind of feel like a rookie again. Like, I can see Mike Evans kind of turning back the clock a little bit. And as you said, the 49ers need him desperately bad. And to Mike's credit, I mean, the floor is there, right? So I like that shout.
Yeah, I just think that, I mean, Puka is the guy that sets up the drive. Devontae is the one that finishes it. And I think Evans is both lanes. So,
all right. So, yeah, I like it. Ty's saying, the lyrics in the song are all Puka, but the chorus is Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. You got it. All right, so Mike Evans, clean sweep. I agree with you fellas on that. Ty, we're going to start with you on this one. 1v1, Dynasty, wide receiver talk, trades, overall value. Rome Odunze or Ladd Mcconkey? I love it because I know Ty don't even want either of them, but he's got to pick one.
Oh, my. I think it's probably unpopular. I think I'm going to lean Ladd. It wasn't pretty last year at all. And I think he's a fraud, and I think the Chargers are a fraud just in entirety. But I just haven't seen anything out of Odunze, anything that I really wowed me. Like, yeah, I think he's a decent player. He's not a scrub by any means, but I don't trust it. And I mean, I don't think there's a huge ceiling there personally. With Ladd, there's not a huge ceiling either, but I just banking he can get back on that rookie season where, yeah, there wasn't a huge ceiling, but he's kind of like plays a Jacoby Myers role, just very consistent. And that's what I want out of him. And I'm not expecting him to be a wide receiver 1. I just want wide receiver 2 numbers. I don't know if I can if Odunze can do that personally. And maybe Ladd can't either after last year, but I think we've seen it once, so I'm going to bank that he's going to get back on that role just because the style of game he plays is completely different from Odunze. If Odunze don't have the big grabs and touchdowns, he ain't getting much. But Ladd, he don't have to get the big grabs and touchdowns. He just is going to pick you apart through the middle, getting 5-6 grabs a game for 50, 60 yards, and you're getting 10-plus points a game, and that's okay with me. So I think I'm just going to take Ladd and hopefully just see a bounce back from the rookie season.
So, and I like what you said, Ty. Like, even for Ladd's game, you're saying keep it in perspective.
Yeah. Oh, he's not like a dominator or a wide receiver one. Like,
you just want him to be that too.
Yeah.
That more consistent type.
Yeah, like his absolute ceiling would be like a Chris Olave, and that's like an absolute ceiling. I don't even think he'd be touched that. Like maybe like a Myers, honestly.
Yeah, like a high-end Myers.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, Ty saying, you know what, I'll take Ladd. I'll bite my lip and I'll take Ladd, but he's got to get more consistent, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's where Ty's at. Mike, okay, because, you know, this is a frustrating one, and you got a lot of people in the middle of dynasty drafts, you know, looking at these players. Who would you take in a one-for-one circumstance for 2026? Ladd Mcconkey, Rome Odunze, and do you think maybe one has better dynasty value over the other in your eyes?
I mean, shoot, these two really are like kind of like head-scratching like players because you're just like, which one do I rather have? Like the guy who Ty loves saying it is on a fraud team that we just don't know what's about to happen, or the guy who we believe can be the guy, but we like this other guy that could go off, as well as the tight end and the running backs. So I'm going to go with Ladd in the sense of like that rookie season still in the back of my head. Sure, last season was awful. Maybe they turn it around, right? Look, he has all the abilities to be the guy for his rookie season. He'll be that chain-moving wide receiver like we talked about. He's going to have that rapport with Justin Herbert. The tackles are back. My guy, Omarion Hampton's going to run the football better. I feel like there's going to be opportunities for him to have that success just because of how this offense is built. Now, look, the nerd, who like I love to call him, from Miami, who they got as an offensive coordinator, so with all intents and purposes, the things that he does the best at is getting these wide receivers the football. We saw it with Waddle. We saw it with Hill. He can get him the football. He can put him in good spaces. I believe that McDaniels can make him back to a guy that we can trust, at least in that sense. Not like Ty said, like not a wide receiver one. Like if he's my wide receiver one and I have to bank on him, absolutely not. But if it's a guy that I can consistently hope to be a wide receiver two, flex guy, I believe in that more than Rome Odunze, and an offense that I believe wants to target a younger tight end, a younger wide receiver, as well as the running backs.
All right.
I'm just going to add, like, and everyone does make fun of it, and, like, I even say, like, how bad of a disaster of a season it was for Ladd. Like, he still finished wide receiver 30, so it wasn't catastrophic, and that's kind of promising. Like,
right. It wasn't horrible.
Right,
horrible.
right.
But, I mean, people buying at the prices they were buying got burnt.
Right.
Okay,
but we did. I think we even talked about that for his rookie year. It's like this guy is a wide receiver two. He's not a wide receiver one. So if you were paying wide receiver one prices, then that's kind of on you.
Come back and bite you.
Yeah.
All right. So Teixeira, here you go. I know these are two teams, two players. You know, in your mindset that maybe you don't want a ton of either. But we talk about fraud with the Chargers. We joke around about that a lot. But it almost has some kind of truth to the sentiment of it, right? We got some people, too, that maybe believe in some of these teams more, but they're kind of close right now in value. Who do you prefer, Rome Odunze, Ladd Mcconkey for 2026?
I'm going to go with the home run swing just because there hasn't been quite as damaging of a stain yet on his record like it has been with Ladd. I'm going to go with Odunze. I'm going to trust in Ben Johnson to catapult Caleb Williams to being a more accurate passer and getting Odunze the ball. I already got ahead of the curve with the Ladd thing. I flipped him the year before for a bunch of 2027 first in leagues, so I'm happy about that. I think with Odunze, he needs to get healthy. He needs to be healthy. I think he was battling something last year, and it lingered all year long, and the drops is what's a big problem too with him. If he can clean up the drops, I think he'll have a better season, and I think that my goal with both these players, if I have them on rosters, is like I'm trying to flip them at some point. I'm not trying to make these guys foundational pieces of my dynasty roster or hold them to try to run with contending rosters to try to make a thing. I think the best strategy for these guys is once they hit to try to flip them as soon as possible, because the floor could come out at any moment with both of them, because both teams at the end of the day, I think in the 2026 season, are going to try to really emphasize the run game and really showcase those running backs. And I think what Odunze has over Ladd McConkey is less of a pie to deal with as far as targets and opportunities. And if he can capitalize on some moments of the Bears getting in the red zone and being a touchdown target, I think he plays like a Devontae Adams style role in this offense, or an Amon-Ra St. Brown role in this offense, where he just finishes drives and capitalizes in the red zone. I think he can finish higher than the Ladd McConkey.
All right, Tessier going to go with the ceiling there. And to be fair, right, like, and I think that Ty and Mike can agree with this sentiment. Like, if you missed out on a Ladd, it wouldn't be catastrophic, though, right? Like, if you wanted to take a swing, I guess you could go the other direction here. But, I mean, like, you ain't going to lose too much sleep if you lost a Ladd, I don't think.
No.
I mean, you can find a wide receiver, too, replacement in a lot of places. But let's go over to the next one here, Mike. I'm starting with you. And, I save some of the good ones for Mike. I got him on the edge of his seat right now, because this is one here. What do you do, right? Because they both have their own troubles in certain ways, but we know that there could be some talent unlocked at some point somewhere along the line. Mike, it's going to be Rashee Rice or Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, wow.
Who are you taking here in this one? Because you got one who's a knucklehead and has all the legal trouble, but we know the talent. He's on an offense that's good for him. And you have Marvin Harrison, who, we know there's talent, but Arizona might have ruined him. So you got to pick between the two. If you had to choose right now, I love saving these for Mike. Where are you at, Mike? Let's find out where your headspace is.
My man TJ loves to put me in these situations. I got a guy who might be going to jail and a guy who's in football jail. So I have no idea who to pick. All right. I mean, Jesus. All right. I'm going to go with the non-knucklehead. So I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay. This is the reason why. Because at least he could be on the field. He's reliable. He'll be on the field. But in all honesty, I believe good times are coming for Arizona. I'm not talking about this year. I think the years to come, right? We believe that they're going to be a top 5 pick in a heavy quarterback draft next year. I believe that in all due intents and purposes, the coaching staff is better than the last one. So I believe, and I love to bring up the story of Devontae Adams. Everybody thought Devontae Adams was a bust until that perfect moment where Aaron Rodgers and all the right coaches were there, and then he blew up. He became the wide receiver we could trust. He believed he could be reliable. I think there are good times coming. Sure, Michael Wilson could be this great superstar wide receiver out of the blue, but I believe that can only help Marvin Harrison Jr. because we had so much expectations for this guy to be the next guy, Jamar Chase, even Malik Neighbors, those type of players to be ahead of his game. And he came from wide receiver Ohio State University, where they just turned out good guys. So I believe after maturing, after being in a system that was probably detrimental to his growth, and just him being reliable. I don't know if Rashee Rice is going to be on the field half the freaking time because he's doing stupid shit. So I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. just because of those 3 points.
All right, put the hot seat on for Mike yet again, and he always delivers, right? And he always gives good answers. And you know what? This is close. I mean, because you look at it, right, on either side of the ledger. You could be dealing with someone who's not going to be available, but we know could play, or you could be dealing with something that could blow up, and you just don't want to take the risk to share us. So same question coming over here to you, Marvin Harrison Jr., Rashee Rice. What would you do if you could pick from one of these two for your dynasty rosters? I mean, what makes the most sense? Where are you gambling?
To me, what makes the most sense of how I play the game, I'm trying to win now and win. And I think if I'm on a contending roster, I'm pushing the chips in and gambling with Rashee Rice, with that talent and that ability and being tied to Patrick Mahomes. The silly stuff be damned. The injuries is another thing, too, because he has been playing a little bit since getting over that injury. We don't know how it's going to be affected with him getting the ball thrown to him by Justin Fields to start the year. So it might be a slower start. I like both of these guys. I want both of them on my roster. I think I just have different outlooks of how I can make an argument for both of them. If I'm trying to have a 3 to 5 year plan, I'm going with Marvin Harrison Jr. as like having like a developmental player to like help hopefully things change and get better in Arizona, and he emerges as that wide receiver 1. But if I'm trying to win now and compete now, and if I got a fully healthy, non-boneheaded Rashee Rice tied to Patrick Mahomes, I think he gives you the best opportunity and ability to win your leagues and your matchups week to week when he's on the field.
All right, so Teixeira kind of laying it out, right? Maybe if you had a certain build, you could go a certain direction. Ty, what's your feelings? Because, look, I mean, I think deep down you kind of like both these players a little bit, and we know one's in legal trouble all the time, it seems like, in a good situation, and you have one that has immense talent capabilities but just really hasn't shown it and is in a bad situation. Who would you pick on your dynasty roster for 2026, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Rashee Rice?
Yeah, I think taking either player on is like playing Russian roulette, really. I mean, and I think that's really what kind of gets my answer is, do you want the guy who has legal problems but has actually shown how good he can be, or do you want the guy that we haven't really seen anything and hoping, he's going to be something? And I think that's why I'm going to go Rashee Rice, is because we have seen the talent. He has his problems, same with Marvin Harrison, but if he could just stay healthy, or if he could just stay healthy and be good off the field, the guy is a monster. I mean, he gets like 20 points a game. 2 seasons ago, he started out first 3 or 4 games. He was wide receiver 1, and he was just dominating, and then he went down with the injury. And then even coming back last year from the legal problems, and you see it a lot with players, like they're rusty and they don't play well. He come right out and was getting 20 points a week again. So I think that's why I'm just going to have to lean Rice, just because we have seen how good he can be. Just hopefully the guy, after going to jail for a month, turns his life around, because, man, that guy can make a heck of a lot of money, and he's a heck of a football player, and he's linked with Patrick Mahomes, which even adds more to that value. I mean, look, Worthy coming out of college, look at the value on him just because he had Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. Rashee Rice has all the talent in the world, and he has Mahomes at quarterback. So, yeah, I'm going to lean Rice.
Okay, so, look, I'm going to agree with you here, Ty, but, it's just by a hair, and I think that you laid it out as far as, we're preaching from the same choir, because, my thing is we have seen it, and I say it a lot, seeing is believing, right? But, you are taking Russian roulette gambles with these two players.
You are.
There's no doubt about it, but, you look at it, right? Maybe someone has a Marvin Harrison, and they're like, what could I do? Well, maybe you could get Rashee Rice. You want to gamble. Sometimes, to get out of a situation, you might have to gamble on another one.
It's actually a really fair trade.
Oh, yeah, it really is. Mm-hmm. I mean, right now, I think that's pretty level. It's on the up and up for sure. But, okay, now we're going to go into the next question, and we're going to start with you, Ty. This is very simple, right? But This is a question I think that could vary for everybody. But I want to see where everyone is in the end of July in 2026. Who's your dynasty wide receiver 1, Ty, overall? Because, look, you have a smorgasbord to pick from. We have guys that have gone up. We've had guys that have gone down. We have guys that have been consistent. If we were sitting here right now, and I know just teasing some Dynasty DNA rankings, who would be your number 1 overall wide receiver from a Dynasty standpoint as we sit here today?
It's not a very easy question.
That's what I said. It's a complex question.
You said it is an easy question is what you led with. And I said,
well, it's an easy question because you got to give one answer, right? It's what don't make me dock the point, Ty. I mean, come on. I mean, I was just trying to lay it out to where it's one question.
I think it's an easy answer for me, but a lot of people probably wouldn't agree. But I think the quarterback situation's a lot healthier than what a lot of people think. I'm going to say Justin Jefferson.
Okay, there you go.
I think he's going to come back and retake his throne. I like Kyler. Personally, I like Kyler Murray. I think a lot of people want to shy away from that. I like Kyler. I think he's a fantastic buy this offseason. And I think Kyler knows how to win football games there, and that is to get Justin Jefferson the football. And I think Jefferson knows, too. He's kind of a competitive dude. He's going to want to get back on top. And to me, he's always been the most talented receiver in the league, better than Chase. So, yeah, I'm going to roll with Jefferson.
Class on grass. right? That's what it's called with Justin Jefferson, right? On and off the field, this guy is great. And look, I can't deny the fact that the talent's there. He can be that guy, right? And you have not backed off that the Minnesota Vikings are going to be a lot better this year.
Yes, they will be.
And you have been preaching about getting into this team a little bit.
Get Kyler Murray, I'm telling you.
Okay, so Ty, a little bit of an ominous prediction right there. He's got all the Minnesotans doing the school chant right now. Yep. But we're going to cruise on over to the red corner with Mike. You know, Mike, let me just say, it ain't an easy question because, you know, Ty will just rebuttal. We can't say that. But, you know, this is a question where it's just a one-player answer, and you know what? It could vary for everybody. There's a lot to choose from here, but the way you lay it out, the way you see it, who's the Dynasty wide receiver 1 overall in your eyes?
Right. So, TJ, consistency matters, right?
It does.
Consistency matters, right?
Yep.
Has there ever been a guy more consistent than that guy that's wearing that Uno in Cincinnati right now, Jamar Chase? I believe in Jamar Chase. I believe in that offense. I thought it had to be just Joe Burrow. No, we saw it with Flacco. He could still put up these numbers. This guy puts up touchdowns. He breaks records in targets and receptions and yards. I believe in this guy because, look, we love Chase Brown. We know T. Higgins, what he could bring to the table. We followed the tea leaves, and this team is going to get better. And they're going to be in games where they're going to have to throw the football. They play like the Dallas Cowboys at one point. They play the Ravens twice that we know. They play the Eagles. They play all these different teams that they're going to have to score on and put up a lot of points. Jamar Chase, just all he does is find his way out in these different coverages, and everybody's like, why aren't they double teaming Chase? They are. It's just he knows how to beat those coverages. He knows how to get out of certain routes. They know how to move them around. I hate Zach Taylor. I think he's one of the worst coaches in the effing NFL. But there's one thing that he could do is get Chase the football. I believe that Joe and him have that rapport that we always love, where we see with like Big Ben and Antonio Brown, Peyton and Marvin, stuff like that. So I believe he retakes his throne as wide receiver 1. No offense to Puka, Justin Jefferson, JSN, all those guys. I just believe this guy, even when we believe there's a quote-unquote down year, he's still wide receiver 5 or 6. Injuries, not knock on, God forbid, is the only thing stopping this guy. He's only 26. He's only going to get better. I hate he's in our division because I want to hate him, but I can't. He's the best in the business.
All right. So, Mike, going with Jamar Chase, consistency matters, right? And look, I mean, you always can make a case for that. Teixeira, coming over here to you. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, we got a couple answers here. Who's your Dynasty wide receiver 1 overall, Teixeira, in your eyes, as we sit here today, end of 2026 offseason almost approaching? What's your thoughts?
It's a no-brainer. It's not even close to me. It's Justin Jefferson. He is by far the highest talented, best ability wide receiver in the league. And I know you can make an argument that Chase should be 1, but the fact that he's been dealing with shit at the quarterback position for greater than a year, it tells you enough to what you need to know. And he's just got his head on straight too. You don't have to worry about the diva attitude with him. He just shows up every day. He plays, he gets through it. And I like the guy who's tied to Kevin O'Connell in that offense. Those Vikings, they come to play every season. They put up points. And I like that he's got the Robin in that offense along with him and Jordan Addison, where he's respected enough to take pressure off of him in coverage, but he's not there enough of a presence to take away production from him. He's able to feast in that offense. He's the number 1. He's what that team all revolves around, and they don't have a running game, so they have to rely on him even more so. It's just the fact that the one piece that's missing is the quarterback position tells me that going forward for us in Dynasty, we're going to want to, in startups, and even now, if there's any doubt, go get him in dynasty leagues and draft him at the end of the first round in startups. I think it's criminal that he's going at the 111, 112, or the 110. He should be at the 14, 15. He's that powerful of a wide receiver, and he's that productive. He's finished as wide receiver 1 overall once. And it's it boggles me while everyone wants to doubt his talent because of the team situation. You got to separate situation from the talent. If you're trying to figure out who's like the best pure wide receiver in the game, it's Justin Jefferson. And people still sleeping on Kyler Murray or even J.J. McCarthy. I mean, it's going to break at some point. I trust Kevin O'Connell enough to get this thing figured out. I think they've licked their wounds and learned their lessons about letting Daniel Jones walk and Sam Darnold walk, and they're not going to fall for it again. They're going to get him this quarterback, keep him happy, and he's going to finish as a wide receiver 1 overall once again. And if you're still doubting, I mean, just shame on you. You don't deserve to win your leagues if you're trying to ship him off and get him off your roster. Shame.
Agreed with that statement, right? And look, I'm going to lean Jefferson as well, but I'm right there with Mike. I think it's 1A, 1B, just like it was when these guys were at LSU. I mean, these guys are elite talents, and, I mean, no wonder they didn't lose a game in college football, especially when you have Joe Burrow throwing on the football.
Yep.
So, I mean, great talents. But, I mean, Justin Jefferson, I'm like you guys. I think there's a little vengeance tour coming. And, look, I mean, we talked about the door being open to buy potentially lower on a player like this. If there's a chance, do it now.
Yeah.
But here's the last question of the night, and it's going to be new faces, new places, matchmaker. So I'm going to be talking to trade with some receivers that have moved on to some new teams, and I just simply want to know, would you take the deal? Would you take the receiver, and what's your thoughts with them on their new team? Mike, we're going to start here with you. Free agent matchmaker, the 2027 projected 206 for Michael Pittman Jr. with the Steelers, our Steelers. We got to send Chris Ballard a Christmas card for getting him, right? So right now, I want to ask you, would you take that trade, and what's your expectations with Michael Pittman in Pittsburgh, Mike?
Yeah, I'll take the trade, and it's nothing. I know as somebody who loves the Steelers, I've been very critical of them, right? The passing game, what Aaron Rodgers can do. But I believe they did this move because they want to show us something, right? They want to have Aaron Rodgers tossing the football left, right, and center. Michael Pittman, he's a gritty wide receiver. He's going to be the guy that gets you those yards. That was the thing we were missing last year. Calvin Austin, in all due respect, thank you for your service. Enjoy New York. We need somebody way, way better, and that we got somebody way better. Chris Ballard, thank you for not wanting to give money to a one-trick pony and Alec Pierce and giving us that guy. But Michael Pittman, in all honesty, is going to be the better guy than whatever I'm going to get in that second round. We've talked about this 2026 class so much that there is no body that we're looking after pick like 105 even. So it's like we want to have a guy that we know is established. He's a young guy. He got the contract he wanted. The team that wanted him, as well as Mike McCarthy wanting him. So let's get him out onto the field. Let him do his thing. So Michael Pittman for me.
All right. I like it, Mike. And let me just ask you, Teixeira, right in the middle there, the middle of the second round, projected 206 for Michael Pittman. New face, new place, expectations. What are we thinking here?
Get these picks out of my face. I'm a winner. I want to win now. Give me Michael Pittman. I think he's going to finish as an elite wide receiver too. I don't think his days of wide receiver 1 going to be in the Pittsburgh offense going to be there exactly. Temper your expectations, but it's definitely going to be better than his days in the Colts. They're actually going to utilize him, pepper him with targets. I think his best fit with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, he's going to fit that Jordy Nelson role in that offense. He's going to do all that stuff that he did with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers the first time around, but maybe even better. And I think at the end of the day, if I had to take between Michael Pittman or those other guys from the previous question, Worthy, Pearsall, McMillan, or Coker, I'd take Pittman over those guys just because I think he's just going to have that much better of a season than those other guys. And I think that Michael Pittman is a guy that's still being slept on this offseason, and you can get him for a good price if you just pounce on it right now. And if you're on a contending team, having him being able to be thrown into your wide receiver 2 in a pinch or at very minimum your flex position, I think that's a smart, calculated dynasty move that can help push you over the edge to get you into the championship round of your fantasy leagues.
Okay, so Teixeira Mike says yes. Ty, Michael Pittman with the Steelers, projected middle second round pick, 206. What's your thoughts on him in this offense, and are you making the trade?
Yeah, I'm absolutely making the trade. I mean, he's a top 20 guy almost every season. I'll tell you, him and Cortland Sutton are some of the most disrespected wide receivers. They're just so productive, like very sneaky productive, and they just
and Jacoby Myers, right?
No,
He's not quite that level,
Right.
but also disrespected.
Yeah, it just doesn't ever get any love. I don't understand it. Pittman's going to do really well there. I would probably say no if Tomlin was still running the helm, but now with Mike McCarthy there, I've been preaching it. I think the Steelers have kind of turned a new leaf. I think they're going to be more potent offensively. Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, they've done this before. That is a prototypical receiver in that offense. He's just a good dude. I think Aaron Rodgers and him will develop a really nice chemistry together. I could see him having another top 20 finish, like an 18, 19, 20 guy. I think the Steelers are going to be a heck of a lot better offensively, and I think Pittman fits that offense like a glove.
Agreed, right? I think that's a fair value. Andy's fishing the Allegheny River. I'm going to be searching for Michael Pittman this offseason a little bit more so we can get him on the show. I know you'd love that, Ty.
Oh, that'd be great.
So would I. The guy's awesome, right? He's a fisherman. You got to love Michael Pittman. He just puts his boots on and goes to work, and he gets the job done.
Gotta love that.
And also very consistent, as Ty said, very disrespected. But Tessier, coming over here to you, new faces, new places. DJ Moore with the Buffalo Bills for an early 2027 second. What's your thoughts on that, and how do you see it shaking out with him up there with Bills Mafia this year?
Oh, I think it's going to be about the same or similar as his time in Chicago. That's going to be in Buffalo. My biggest bugaboo about the Bills is that they just don't get the wide receivers going. You just can't. It's like a carousel. You just don't know who it's going to be each week. It's the Josh Allen show, and it's like you either want Cook or Allen in that offense or nothing else. I'll take the shot on the early second versus going after a DJ Moore on a new team. He's climbing up there in age at 29. I don't think he's the type of guy on contending rosters that's going to push you over the edge to get you into like playoff mode or into the big game. I think that it's just, if you can get out of him this offseason, that's probably what's best, because I don't know what his value is going to look like after this season if it goes bad in Buffalo. I think it could really tank his value for you. And if you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out already, I think just play off the hype that he's in a new situation with the top-end dynasty quarterback and just hope for the best. And I think I'd rather take the lottery ticket on the pick.
Okay, so Tessier's going to stick with the pick here. Really a lot of valid points, right? And we know Buffalo has really botched this position a lot. Ty, I know that you know these veteran wide receivers well. You've monitored the moves across the offseason. What do you think with DJ Moore now with the move of Chicago Bears going to the Buffalo Bills? Do you think he's worth a high second, or are you going to look at other places?
I'm keeping the pick. This is just too eerily reminds me of the Amari Cooper situation there.
Ooh, good point.
They bring him in and just it doesn't work. And really, how have you ever seen a wide receiver really flourish with Josh Allen? You really just haven't seen it. And DJ Moore, it's really sad. He's really just hit a big decline, like big time. Just hasn't really been the same player ever since he's left Carolina, which, boy, we were just shouting from the mountaintops for years to get him out of Carolina, and he does, and just kind of disappears. So, yeah, really, whenever I heard he went there, that honestly reminded me exactly that Amari Cooper situation, and I hope he can turn it around, because I do like DJ Moore. I think he's a great player, but I just think that he's starting to hit a cliff earlier than other guys, and hopefully, he doesn't actually turn in the Amari Cooper situation where it just doesn't go good there and he retires. So,
all right. So Ty going to agree with Tessier. Mike, is it a clean sweep for DJ Moore? What's your expectations with the Bills? Are you willing to pay the high second, or are you going to look in other places?
Well, look, these two hate DJ Moore, and I understand the hate, and I get it. Look, I hate this draft even more. I really do. I just give me DJ Moore. I'll even toss him a third if I could get this guy. I understand the problem with it. I really do, but I believe DJ Moore can be the guy that we can all believe in again. I really do. Josh Allen will get him the football. There is come on. Who's he competing with? Like Curtis Samuel? Like the ghost of Dalton Kincaid, the ghost of Dawson Knox. It is James Cook and the Josh Allen show, but we do need to have him catch the football at some point. He needs to get a wide receiver at some point. We've been preaching. Is it the wide receiver we all wanted? Probably not, but he could do some electric stuff still. I believe he's going to go back to the same coordinator who gave him his Pro Bowl season in Carolina, and Joe Brady, and we'll see how it goes. Look, the tea leaves might not be there, but if history tends to repeat itself, I think this is the right situation for Mr. Moore and for Josh Allen and for Joe Brady. So
okay, so we know DJ Moore has the talent, like Ty said. Hopefully, he didn't hit that huge decline. It hasn't looked good, but if anything can happen, at least he's with a good quarterback. We'll see what comes of it. I think I'm going to stick with Tessier and Ty here a little bit more. But, Mike, ever the optimist. I like that, right? I know the guys on the deep dive give me the hard time about giving teams an extra win or two, being more optimistic. But sometimes, you can pay off a little bit optimistic. So let's go over now to the next one here. And we're going to start with you on this one, Ty. Romeo Doubs or a 2027 late second? What's your thoughts?
I'll take the late second. I'm just not a Romeo Doubs guy. And he did go to New England, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Your team.
I love that, but I just don't love the player. Honestly, even if he does, okay there, I don't feel like I'm losing a lot of value personally. I at that point, I think I'm just going to take the lottery ticket. I'm just not a Romeo Doubs guy. I've never watched him and been overly impressed. He's not a scrub by any means, but I'm just not. I just don't think he's anything special. I just think he's just an okay receiver, and I think there will be some talent in this draft, and I think at some point I'm just gonna, throw my line in the water and see what kind of fish I can pull out. So I'll go with the pick.
All right, so Ty, even denying a New England Patriot, he's sticking with the pick here. So, Mike, same thing to you. Romeo Doubs, 2027 late second. Where are you at on this one?
I think I'm going to agree with Ty on this one. I'm just laughing, man. Romeo Doubs kills me. I know I just was very optimistic with DJ Moore, but Romeo Doubs, what a hell of a year. What a hell of an offseason. You get the bag, quote unquote. Then all of a sudden the inevitable happens and A.J. Brown comes to the team, and now everybody's talking about him doing his thing, and that's all anybody's talking about. We know Hunter Henry is going to have a freaking role in this offense, and we all believe that they're going to just pound the football left, right, and center because that's Mike Vrabel. So these are one of those teams where it's just you want the wide receiver one, you want Drake May, you want those guys, but is this wide receiver two even worth the damn? I believe not. And Romeo Doubs to me wasn't even worth a damn in Green Bay, let alone here. So I'm only laughing just because I love these TJ. He is a guy we need to talk about, but Jesus Christ, he's the thorn in my side every time I see him on the waiver wire.
I love it. We got Mike going here late tonight to share a last one for Romeo Doubs, 2027 late second, or Doubs, new face, new place with New England. How do you see it shaking out? Where are you at?
Yeah, I've seen enough of him in that big giant helmet of his in Green Bay over the years, and there's a reason why he didn't stick around there or even get wide receiver one, money, because he's not going to be a wide receiver one. He's never going to be a wide receiver one. He's just going to be in somebody's shadow, and I don't even think he's probably the third option in New England. I like Butte over him if I was going to take a wide receiver outside of A.J. Brown in that offense. And I mean, at that point in the draft, I'm hoping somebody is sleeping at the draft board and somebody falls to me that I like, and I'll scoop them up and just look at them better on my roster than seeing Doubs burning a hole at the bottom of my bench.
Okay. I like it. And we got one more to go, Mike, starting with you on this one. Wan'Dale Robinson with the Tennessee Titans, new face, new place. He is currently being valued for a 2027 mid-second. What are you going to do here? Are you going to take the pick? Are you going to take the player?
Ugh. I have no idea. This is crazy. I'm going to take Wan'Dale Robinson, and here's why. I believe that when we're talking about an ascending offense, we are talking about the Tennessee Titans. I believe they have all the pieces in place to help Cam Ward. Is Cam Ward good? TBD. But they did bring Brian Daboll in for a reason. Brian Daboll got his guy. He's like, come from New York, come here. Let's be the chain mover. We have this guy named Carnell Tate who could probably help you out, who could be probably something good as a rookie. But they're building something there in Tennessee to hopefully continue on in the future. I mean, he isn't a guy that we love, but he's a guy who's reliable. I mean, in those 2 seasons in New York where we were like, whoa, what is Robinson doing? He's just a target hog. He's just somebody who's getting these yards, sometimes some touchdowns. He's somebody who has a higher floor than people think. He gets onto the field in these wide receiver sets where he gets the ball, pick routes, or he goes over the top. He's sneaky good in that sense, and I don't believe I'm going to find somebody like that in the second round, even in the 2027 draft. So I'm just going to take my shot on Robinson in an ascending offense.
Okay, and age on the side too, for sure. Okay, Teixeira, Wan'Dale Robinson or the 2027 mid-second, right, with the Tennessee Titans now, Wan'Dale Robinson, and a wide receiver 14 finish last year, getting a lot of targets sent his way. What do you think? Do you think the value's fair enough to add some wide receiver depth here?
Yeah, the value's fair enough. I'll do that for Wan'Dale Robinson all day. He got the bag over the offseason, and I think Mike put it up well with this point of, like, they brought in Daboll over, and I think Daboll got his guy, and then he's going to be a part of that offense. It's going to be likely a slow start for Carnell Tate and Cam Ward, but he's the guy that did the dirty work in New York for those Giants. He's the one that was doing the stuff that when Neighbors wasn't there and the tight ends weren't, getting it done, he was bailing out that offense a lot by keeping drives alive. And surprisingly, he was finding his way into the end zone and breaking big plays. I think he's in a feast on the yards after catch with Cam Ward and pad those stats. And I think for that sort of price, I'm willing to do it, especially if he's going on my roster to be my wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2. I don't think if I'm relying on him, I hope nobody is as wide receiver 1. That'd be a pretty dirty team. But, I think it's willing to work the sacrifice. Even a good draft class, I think Wan'Dale Robinson's worth the price.
Okay. Ty, finishing up with you, Wan'Dale Robinson, coming off a really solid campaign here. Got paid, new face, new place, mid-second. Is the value worth it for you for Wan'Dale Robinson?
No, I'm going to keep the pick. I just think there's better players at that price. I mean, you're telling me you'd rather have like a Wan'Dale than a Michael Pittman? No chance. I don't like the fit of him and Cam Ward. When I see Cam Ward play, he's more of a throw it down the field guy than over the middle. I don't see it working as well as everyone else does. Maybe he'll change his game up a little bit. I just think that it's not really his kind of guy he likes to throw the football to. So, I just think there's better players at that price, and I just don't think Wan'Dale Robinson's anything special. He's a guy that's going to get you, 5, 6, 7 points a game, personally for me, especially in this offense, and that's about it. So I think I'm just going to take the pick.
Well, let me just say, though, right? Like, I agree with you. If I could get Michael Pittman, I'm going to take Michael Pittman. But, like, if that's the best I could get, I would go with it. I'd be okay with it. I know that you're a little bit of a difference in opinion on that. But, you look at it, 14, wide receiver 14 last year. I mean, the guy can play. He's not a scrub.
Yeah, well, that team was kind of in shambles, personally. So,
well, shambles, and he still finishes wide receiver 14.
Yeah, I mean, that whole season just kind of went out the door. I think it's kind of fluky.
Okay, all right. Well, Ty's going to go the difference there, but we do have a winner here for today's episode. The winner is Mike in the red corner, and he's told you guys to put it on red early, and you know what? The newlywed strikes again. Mike, you're on a roll, my friend. You answered the hard questions. Go ahead. You have a minute to talk about whatever you feel like. Go for it, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, look, football season's around the corner. The World Cup finished. It's that lull period that I talk about all the time. These are the dog days of summer, and it got shortened because of the World Cup. I know some of our listeners and Big Culture Bob don't like soccer because they're it's not a lot of contact, but it's okay. I get it, Bob. I get it. You want to go to Cubs games and watch them lose their 5th game in a row. It's fine. I understand. So The biggest thing I really want to say is just go out there, complete those rosters, do some mock drafts, do some research. It's around the corner. You know, those mini camps are about to open up. The training camps are opening up. Get those values on now. Like we said with the wide receiver twos, Jalen Coker, McMillan, Pearsall, those are the guys that when you buy now will be the difference makers of you being a champion or you holding the bag. So we want you to get out there and win those championships. And see these guys at the expo. Please come see the booth. Please go follow on everything. I'm praising my boys. I can't be there. Enjoy it, guys.
This year, but next year we'll hopefully have our guy with us, Mike. We'll have the whole crew together. We can't wait for it. But, guys, if you are enjoying the content on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Amazon, any of the big podcasting platforms, and you haven't yet, please follow and 5-star the show. Greatly helps. We so appreciate it. If you want to check out Dynasty DNA on YouTube, subscribe Dynasty DNA on YouTube. We'd love to have you over there. Check out the Dynasty DNA TikTok page. I know Mike, Teixeira, and all the guys are doing a great job building that up. Dynasty DNA on Instagram, Facebook as well. And listen, I know I speak for Ty, Teixeira, Mike, everyone here at the Whistle to Whistle crew and the Dynasty DNA Network when we say we hope you guys have a great, great rest of your week ahead of you, and we hope to see you at the Expo. But until then, we'll see you then on the next episode of From Whistle to Whistle.